There we go. Hi. Hello, everybody. I've had a day today. Um, yeah, we're gonna hold up. What is all this? I don't. You know what? It's fine. Today, it's fine. Today has been one of those days. So I woke up feeling good, feeling great. I tried to schedule an appointment for tomorrow. Well, that didn't work out. So I ended up scheduling the appointment for the 20th, which is fine. That worked out. I played the game with my brother for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Like, we finally played this game I've been wanting to play for a little bit now, and I'm like, I'm not even into it today. And so at like, I sat down. I didn't sit down. I went to go and finally make the shrimp curry, and realized that the onions. So we already had some onions that we got a while ago, but we don't really use onions. They had gone bad, so I went to my grandmother's house to pick up some onions. I saw a family of groundhogs. Those were cute. They literally burrowed into a porch, an abandoned porch. Um, got the onions, and I was following the recipe. I'm like, 5 tablespoons of oil is a lot of oil. And I haven't cooked home too much or cooked at home too much. And my friend's stove is electric. So, I'm in there heating up this oil and I'm like, this is a lot of oil. And I had to put chopped up onions. Oh, snap. What? Hey, how are you doing? So I just finished watching your video about the fairies, and I saw Asbiel. Well, first of all, when you said like not hold back anymore at the end of that video, because I commented before I finished it, I got like nervous. I'm like, not holding back. I feel like that's a lot for the world. I feel like it's a lot for the world to take, but I'm not gonna limit myself anymore. But anyway, how are you doing? Thank you for saying hey. I'm glad to hear it. So I got Asbiel and the Angelarium year 2 a few weeks ago. And he's the angel of ruin, but he felt like he was an angel. It talked about how, I forget what it said, but it felt like he was an angel where like you would go to him and he would tell you how to expand your gifts or how to develop them further. And it said that when war came, then people stopped going to see Asbiel, and he sort of waited there for the war to be over. And maybe that war, it could be internal, like internal conflict and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, let's see what Asbiel's up to. I don't know if there's going to be an energy that really takes our gifts even further, especially as we come into a position and into a time where, I mean, it's needed more than anything else. Um, but that's going to be a whole production that I'm going to do after this. Um, after I do the Daily Farmer's Almanac. And it's the Peregrine Falcon today. Peregrine Falcon teaches us speed, I guess. Oh, not holding back. Oh my gosh, it works. The Peregrine Falcon is the fastest animal on the planet. I'll just read it. The fastest bird on Earth is the peregrine falcon. When it dives for its prey, it falls out of the sky at speeds that no other bird or animal can achieve, more than 200 miles per hour. And so there is a certain amount of like hesitation and fear that has to be released, because when you're diving that fast, a moment of hesitation could have birds meeting the pavement, and that's not cute. So, um, and then I owe Leo through Aries some cards, so we're gonna do that on top of the Peregrine Falcon. And I think I can't even remember when I did that, because it was the Peregrine Falcon one day, and then the next day it was the Kettle Hawk. And the Kettle Hawk is also fast, but it's not as fast as the Peregrine Falcon. And the Kettle Hawk teaches like it's like striking with the correct amount of force at the most opportune moment. It's very sort of it's like this, like it's not mechanical. It waits for that time. With the Peregrine Falcon, it's like about going after whatever your eyes are set on as quick as you can and eliminating all of that hesitation. And I think falcons dive head first, if I remember correctly, and hawks dive with their talons, maybe. Hawks use their claws, known as talons, to kill their prey. Okay. Falcons use their beaks. So there's also more of a throat energy too with the falcon. Look at this one. It's kind of curved a little bit. Whew, I just got so nervous. But what was I talking about? Yeah, anyway, so there was too much oil in the pot. It was too hot. I was gonna do the onions, the garlic, and the ginger, but I wanted to do the garlic and the ginger first. So I dropped a tablespoon of garlic into the pot, and oil went flying everywhere. I had to like turn it down. I'm like, like I don't like heat. I feel like I don't like hot heights. I don't like heat, and so like hot oil is one of the things that is really like I don't do ovens because I'm not sticking my hand in a hot box that's designed to cook things. Like I don't know if there was a past life that involved some fire, but it's like I appreciate fire from a distance. And so like I'm trying to like turn it off and there's just like hot oil going everywhere. And then of course my parents come out and it's a whole thing. And then I put a little bit too much water in it, but it's really good. It smells really good and it tastes really good. It's a shrimp curry. I'm going to have it tomorrow. But let's get back into this. Today has just been, and I was going to do a weekly release today, but I decided to do it tomorrow. Wow. Okay. It is a whole ordeal, but a good meal. I love it. So we're in this energy where it's like a moment of hesitation can lead to it's like I just watched Inception the other day. It's like when you suddenly derail a train. No, it was Hancock. When you suddenly derail a train or when you suddenly stop something that has a lot of momentum, all of that energy has to go somewhere. The cards that meet us today, it's the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. So, I mean, I don't know if like juggling and indecision. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. This is interesting because the Six of Swords implies that there's movement forward, right? When I first saw Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles, I'm like, well, that's not the energy that we should be in right now, especially with this Peregrine Falcon. But it feels like there's something here that needs to be questioned. It feels like there's something here that has momentum and we want it to not have as much. I need something else. No, I don't. See, because something about this, with this Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards. Not for any particular reason, more so than like I like to look at the Two of Pentacles in a deck to see how much distance there is between the two pentacles, to see what the person, like what their expression is. These two pentacles are fairly even. One is slightly higher than the other. There's not a huge distance here. And it looks like the person isn't really focused on either one. It looks like he's looking more towards the sky, which lends to this energy. The Two of Swords for me, a lot of times or sometimes, It's a space where it's like the divine is trying to interfere, or there's a higher perspective in a situation. And so it's us trying to, Bloomin' Bros, what's up? How are you doing? It's us trying to like consolidate and compare like the information that follows like the current sort of streaming pattern, or like this more earthly level of information versus this more intuitive insight. And like that's where it looks like he's looking beyond both of these. So I'm glad to hear it. Honestly, I'm gonna go back to the first message because this is what it feels like. It feels like there may be something that has momentum or that's been gaining momentum in our lives, but it feels like we already know what it is that like he's looking up. He's already got his answer. That's this sort of moment of indecision here. It feels like maybe we're in the space of waiting for something to be proven before we fully dedicate time, energy, or effort into it. But we're almost being asked to like just go. And there's something about the world that's changing, right? So again, shout out to Miss Remy Healings and the video she just did. Because I'm seeing like these little sprites, these little fairies, and it's like we're coming to that point in time where the worlds are merging. And so there's a new earth and energy. And so it feels like if we continue to sort of make choices and decisions based off of old habits and patterns, like the version of Earth where those things worked as well as they did, it's like it's being phased out. We're coming into this new space, and it's a space that's more inherently spiritual in nature. It's more energetically connected. And because it is more energetically connected, it's like we can reach speeds that we've never reached before. And again, I guess it goes back to Russ from Rustling Around. He's been talking about like the old Earth epoch, and how things were like so dense and so heavy, and how Earth and energies were so like super powered. But as we shift into air, it's like things get a lot quicker. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that because the world is in a process of rewriting itself, or it's gonna be coming into that. And there is an energetic, it's like a Big Bang, right? It reminds me of any kind of movie, action movie where there's an explosion and people are running. It's like you can use the energy that is expelled in the explosion to propel yourself even further. It's like if you position yourself right and if you like guard your back, if you're on top of something, it's like it'll push you out and you can kind of sort of ride that momentum. And it's a momentum that, okay, all right, it's a momentum that we more so align to. It's more of an alignment thing than like an action thing. It's not that there won't be actions, but again, it's like with this burst of energy that's about to come in, if you position yourself in a certain way, it's like it'll carry you. It's like surfing, right? And ooh, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Will of the Year, with the Five of Pentacles behind this. So we're definitely, I love this energy. The wheel is spinning from the five to the six. And the Six of Pentacles, it's an energy of like open giving and receiving. It's an energy of receptivity. And this Six of Swords, he kind of looks, or they kind of look a little wet. So feels like they may have fallen in the lake on this one before. But again, it's like something is different, something is changing. And that's why the person in the Two of Pentacles isn't looking at either pinnacle. It's the energy of the infinity symbol around it. And you can see how it's sort of like phasing in and out. Like it's not completely here yet. And so again, it's that energy of like it doesn't quite make sense. Or you'll see that it won't make sense when the world is in such a space of dynamic change in more ways than we can probably comprehend right now. And it's also interesting because in this Two of Pentacles card, there's the boat in the back. And then we have the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Okay. So now we get into the long part of the video where I honor what I told Leo through Aries because I'm going backwards. Daily Farmers Almanac. Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries. And we'll see what's up. I'm not too sure what'll come out. Honestly, I'm kind of like, I don't know how I'm going to do the ASBL thing, but actually I do. I have two of these Angelarium decks, and we're going to pull out the Tree of Life. And then I'm going to use another deck as the branches in between. I don't know how long that video is going to be, but we'll see. So, Leo, I'll say about 16, 17. I'm going to just type them in as I go along. 17, 10, just to be safe. It's 17 minutes. I'll just. Okay, Leo, it's fine. So there's this energy, Leo. Peregrine falcons, fastest bird on Earth. Oh, yesterday, day before yesterday, because I think it was yesterday. I got a sneak peek at today. And the thing about, hey, Zelda, well, I'm glad to hear you're okay. And I've also had a fairly, not super crazy day, but, and then I had Butterfingers and I dropped stuff and something had to get thrown away, but it's fine. It was this energy, and it goes back to alignment. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet because it works with the force of gravity. It dives, and like there's already a gravitational force pulling it down anyway. And so that was an energy of one that like assists acceleration. Again, like with that Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles, it doesn't really feel like, I don't want to say that we're not going to have to do anything, but again, it feels like there's this massive shift already happening that we can align to. Oh, you have to make yourself light. Okay. That's what, because I was just talking about a dream or typing about in the comment section, a dream I had when I was visited by some fairies. I am, thank you. And I remember it was like I was with my friend and it was before his girlfriend came. And I was a little nervous because I had like known her for a few years over the phone, but I had never really spent time with her. And the night before she came, it was this like, it was like I had to make myself light or something. And sometimes, especially if I'm like trying, I can feel energy through my palms, but it's mostly like an inward flow, not necessarily outward. But in the dream, I like forced the air, or I moved energy out of my palms and my feet, and then I like moved into the air a little bit. And then I was visited by the fairies, three fairies, and like when they moved, they left this like after image, and it was very trippy. And I don't remember what they said. They were just like around me. I'm like, okay. But I've had dreams about fairies before. One of the first dreams I remember is I found one. Okay, Leo, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, Ten of Cups, Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords, Nine of Cups, and the King of Cups. Is that the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands with the Knight of Wands, Five of Pentacles? There's okay, Three of Wands. And so the energy with this is like, if we are going to write this, there is resistance that we need to let go of, right? And there's also this thing about needing to be aerodynamic. And so there is a little bit of, I don't want to say collapsing, but when the bird dives, like falcons don't dive like this, right? So they have to bring the wings in, they have to make themselves more aerodynamic, more streamlined. But then it makes me wonder why arrows have tails. I mean, I guess airplanes have wings, but the wings of an airplane, it creates this under sort of current. So the wings, like, they split airflow. And that's what they said the glyph for Libra is. It's when it's something that's hydrodynamic, aerodynamic. And you get the one that goes above the wing and then the one that goes under. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But for the force that goes under, it also pushes the plane up. I don't know. Let me like ground myself. Be a little less excited. I already started your timestamp, Leo. I'm actually going to use the Pride Tarot because it has a sun on it. And I'm like, oh, like Leo. And also, I haven't used. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh, I said Pride Tarot. And then it cycled through the colors. I'm about to turn that off. I don't know why my light has been weird lately. Now it keeps restarting. That's the reset when it cycles through the colors. Now it's just blinking blue. So, okay. And I'm also going to use the energy oracle cards. Actually, Leo, I'm going to move your timestamp back. And I'm going to turn this off. Don't have to deal with this. Yeah. Hey, Mimi. How you doing today? Tardy for the party. Yeah, now we just have this one. I don't know why it started doing that. Leo, let's move you back. 2240. I'll say 2250. 2250. Let's go. All right, Leo. So I'm using the Pride Tarot and the Energy Oracle cards. It looks like I might have some reversals in this deck. I do. I have reversals in here. Okay. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but we'll keep it up. So, Leo, today we're looking at the Peregrine Falcon, and this could be a few things. It could be something that you could, glad to hear it, something that you need to release, something that you're aligning to. Something about headstrong. I almost want to say like be more headstrong, but I don't feel comfortable telling Leo to be more headstrong. So you ate way too many carbs this past weekend. I wish I ate more carbs. This is funny. I saw this card. Page of Pentacles. And I was going to say, it sounds like you need to be more headstrong. With the Magician in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So, Leo, it feels like you need to. It feels like you need to, like, I don't want to say no. There's like this. Oh, that's a 9. Because it feels like this could be you trying to go for something more, trying to create something new. But the Page of Pentacles is saying that you need to stop and put more energy into what it is that you're already doing. There's an issue here that may involve a little bit of a challenge for Leo. I don't know if it's every Leo or a certain Leo in particular or a certain group of Leos in particular. Fixed fire. It feels like I can see it being a challenge for fire, where it's like if something doesn't immediately pay off, then you can be on to the next thing. This Page of Pentacles is barefoot in the grass. The Nahuales. Let's see. Get an energy oracle card. Well, that's a whole bunch of cards. I'll take them though. The first one is Temple Path. Bottom of the deck is the garden and the gate. See, it takes me back to that because I know I asked a few signs last time. It's nomadic by nature or nomadic by necessity. A lot of times, we used to be nomadic back in the day, but also back in the day, we didn't really have like a bunch of like farmland or domesticated animals. And so we were nomadic by necessity because the food moved and traveled, we moved and traveled. And there's something, again, it's like you need to be more headstrong. Eight of Swords is in reverse at the bottom of this deck. The only card upright is the Page of Pentacles. The Temple Path, Broken Heart, Storm Warning, the Woman Holding the Coin, and Strategy. This is an energy of escapism. It's this. Oops. Well, there goes your strategy. It fell in my hand though. That's an energy. It's like when someone experiences a certain heartbreak, and then what they decide to do is they go into business or they make money, or they get all of these revenge things. And again, it's like it's that energy of like where you're going to show somebody what they're missing out on. But if you weren't any of those things when you were with them, if you never would have been any of those things, had you never experienced a heartbreak, then they never would have had it. It's like you can't like be triggered by something and then go out and make all of these changes and then be like, oh, this is what you missed out on. Because again, it's like, well, if that stimulus would have never happened, you would have never had that reaction. So they, whoever wouldn't have gotten it anyway. But more than anything, this is a distraction because this 9-10 heartbreak, it's something that Leo isn't dealing with. And it feels like Leo is like seeking out other more material things to make some kind of movement and progression. But this is the very thing that sort of slows you down the most. And that's why no no tea, no shade. I'm not trying to be mean. And I'm chunky myself. I'm a big dude. But it's like we get this like portly Page of Pentacles energy. And what the portly Page of Pentacles does is they're vulnerable and they go in as who they are and they try to do something. Maybe they fix something. Maybe I don't know. They don't twist all of this. They don't twist this heartbreak into something weird like this, like, oh, well, I'm going to work on my money. But then there's like this ever present, ever looming, like storm warning energy. And that's why the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune are both in reverse. And the Eight of Swords is in reverse. It's like because you keep yourself from seeing it. But because you keep yourself from seeing it, because you keep yourself from indulging in it and then healing it, I don't know why I said indulging. You keep yourself bound to it in a way or limited by it. That's why you need to be more headstrong and you need to go through this. Experience and feel whatever needs to be experienced or felt. And then you'll be able to move forward. And it's like there's a lot of thinking and planning and scheming that's involved with the strategy card. But you wouldn't have to do any of that if you just sort of like worked through this. Yin yang and the happy family. They're both a four. And the door to spirit is behind a happy family. See this? Yin yang, it reminds me of that Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles. You're not in a position to receive this because you keep avoiding this. Now, when you're out there with the temple path, it's like we're always on path. So there are things for you to discover out there. And again, going back to Reem's video with the mask of truth, it was almost, what was it? I had it and then I lost it. Maybe just go check out the video because I had it and then I lost it. It was literally in my brain and then it was gone. But we do have 21 and 12 here. See, but the 21 again with strategy being something that isn't necessarily needed right now, it feels like you're making things harder on yourself by trying to go the long way round. And I feel like somebody in a video they kept saying like the long oh, it was Miss Remy again. She was like, I tried to see, but I couldn't, so I took the long way round or something like that. And every time she said it like that, I bought my ticket for the long way round. Popped into my mind. You put yourself it's like the things that you're looking for, the things that you want the most, you're not willing to go after because of whatever lies in the way. And it's for you to be more determined and it's for you to be more headstrong, not in a way that makes somebody else wish that they would have or wish that they could have, but in a way where you just like instead of doing all of those things for somebody else, and they could be like working on your health, yes, your fitness, yes, financial stability, yes, but you can do all of those things for you because you deserve them, not to make somebody else jealous or mad or upset, because then what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if they go off and they find fulfillment within themselves and they heal and they grow? Then are you going to be upset and just like stalking them for the rest of their lives, waiting for their moment to be miserable because of what they did to you and not giving yourself the happiness that you deserve? I mean, if so, like that's your choice, it's your life. You can live it however you want. But I mean, I would say you probably deserve more. So, oops. All right, this is it for you. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's just time for you to do it for you. And it popped into my mind earlier today. It's a song, Change Your Mind, Steven Universe. It's like, I don't need you to respect me. I respect me. I don't need you to love me. I love me. But I want you to know you could know me if you change your mind. But I feel like that may be something that you're saying to somebody else, but it's something that a deeper part of you is saying to you. And again, like for Leo, it's so interesting because you would think that because Leo is Leo, that's something that they'd be able to do. But we all have things, right? And sometimes we project the most ego in the spaces where we're the most hurt or vulnerable. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. So, Cancer 3510. I haven't been taking as long to type today or something. I don't know. Oh, it's a little later. That's fine. All right, Cancer. Let's see what's up. Peregrine falcon, fastest bird on earth, fastest animal, 200 miles per hour. That's really fast. It's like if you are something somewhere just not paying attention and there's a falcon in the midst, then you don't stand. Oh, snap! You don't stand a chance. Ooh, Cancer! Victory cornucopia at the bottom of the deck. Okay, I'm loving this for Cancer. Number 28 and 11. That's 10 and 11. So there is an energy, ooh, with the chariot and the five of swords in reverse at the cut. I mean, oh, chariot, Cancer, that's you. There's a little bit of an energy here. It feels like maybe there was a past disappointment or you experienced some kind of redirection in the past. But it's like you proved how cardinal you are. Like you proved why Cancer is cardinal. Not that you have to prove anything to anybody, especially me, but sometimes I'm like, Chariot, Cancer, I don't see it. Cancer, Cardinal, like what? Where? Like we're water signs. We're not cardinal anything. We're mutable. I'm just playing. But again, because it's a 28-10, it's not a natural 10, and then we have the 11. That's the energy of like, or maybe there's something working out for you that you don't focus on because it's not what you wanted. But there's something in your life that's about to lead to a whole lot more with cornucopia. Okay, all right, let's go. And it may put you, honestly, it may open and unlock into a lot of things. And that's where this Peregrine Falcon energy comes in. It may feel like all of a sudden things just like pick up and they take off, and you're like going along for the ride. I saw a video of a crab on Twitter last night that was making a home out of sand. And there was this thing, this may be relevant, it may not be. It was like, and people say that we're the most advanced creatures on earth, and they showed the evidence of the crab, you know. And then there were some people who were like, it's the internet, especially Twitter. And then there were people who were getting upset, and it was like somebody was like, "Oh yeah, they're so advanced, but like I can destroy that in like seconds." And it did. It made me think of like why destruction is our metric for advancement or progress, or why is violence always like one of the first things you go to? Like there are people who I know where it's like if you say that like you're a feminist or you believe that women should be treated equally as men, then it's like the first thing that they say is, well, if I hit a woman, then does that mean I shouldn't like go to jail or like I shouldn't whatever? And it's like, why is our first like reaction to equality or advancement or progress like if I subject you to violence or if I destroy something, like could these destroy something? Like why is that our metric for success? Victory. So the moon is at the bottom of the deck. Cancer. I'm looking at the antlers and the staff today. It feels like if this staff aligned to the moonlight, something magical would happen. Queen of Wands came out in reverse first. And I believe there's not a dragon in this deck. That's another deck. Oh, there's 4 cards. I thought it was 3. Four cards came out face down. Queen of Wands, and with this victory in reverse, yeah, there's something here that's like, it feels like you're making a lot of progress. It feels like you've experienced a lot of victory, but you may not be, it may not be in the areas that you're focusing on, or it may not be in the area that you want the most. And so you could be sort of downplaying yourself. Or you may just like, because the moon is at the bottom of the deck. Death is in reverse. I see death in reverse because the card slid down. I don't see the whole card, just 13 death in reverse. It could be with the moon at the bottom of the deck. It's like you don't even see it. The Hanged Man, the Four of Pentacles, Five of Swords in reverse, Four of Cups in reverse. Queen of Wands in reverse feels like you not being super confident about yourself in some area. Maybe you experienced a setback before. What it brings to mind is there's this one game I played, and there's a woman who's a doctor, and she makes her own medicine. And she, it's kind of sort of ironic, she starts, the reason why she develops her medicine and she creates her own medicine, and like the reason for her medical practice is to treat someone with a chronic illness. Now, she was made to believe that she did something that caused some bad stuff to happen to this girl, and the person in charge, who was trying to basically steal her research to push himself even further, pinned everything on her. And there's this one point in the game when he tells her that the other girl is dead. And she's like, "Oh no, like why have I been like working so hard? Like why have I been doing all of this if she's like passed away?" And then you find out that that's not the case. The truth also comes out that, he set her up and he was the one who did whatever, and then she gets better. Now, creating the medicine is an iterative process. Your character in the game is the one who's basically the guinea pig to make sure it works, right? And I've been watching Degrassi, and it reminds me of Ritalin of all things, because Jimmy wanted to perform well in basketball, and he was like, "Oh, like Ritalin is like 50 cups of coffee," and then Jimmy was like, "But like I thought it calmed you down," and he was like, "Yeah, it calms me down because my brain is wired the way my brain is, but for the regular person, or for the average person, for the neurotypical person, or the more neurotypical in this case person, it has the opposite effect." And so there's a little bit of an energy here where it feels like you are down in some sense, but you don't see where these victories actually are. And it's like it's putting you out of your element with the Queen of Wands. Maybe not leaving you feeling very confident. Or on the other side, maybe you experienced a little bit of victory and it went completely to your head. And now it's like you need to like bring it down a little bit. You may be humbled, not in a necessarily like bad way, but just in a way that maybe you like overcommit yourself to something. Now, with the Hangman and the Four of Pentacles, something about the Four of Pentacles energy in this deck feels very deceptive and creepy. Okay, so all right, this is you comparing yourself to other people. This is you being really down on yourself because you haven't done as much as somebody in a certain area. But this energy keeps you from seeing all of the things that you have done. It keeps you from seeing how victorious you are. It keeps you from seeing all the things that make you sort of unique and special, and that make you the perfect person for whatever cornucopia and the moon card is. Because the Queen of Wands is that girl. She's very much that girl. but you don't know that you're that girl. So you're not doing that girl things, right? You're not carrying yourself in a that girl way. And oh, somebody said it today. It had to be Reem. Yeah, I think it was when she was reading Sylvanas. I think not Sylvanas. That's the girl from World of Warcraft. But it was that energy of like where someone tells you that you're better, or when someone tells you that you're more or that you're different. Don't be so quick to like dismiss them, because however you see yourself, it's not completely true. And like it's this currency exchange thing. That's where that energy of like comparison comes in. Now with the 5 of Swords and the 4 of Cups in reverse, this it's a call to you to, if you're playing victim in a situation, it's to stop playing the victim, take back your power, and to move. To not be complacent with where you found yourself in life. Again, it's like show people why like you're cardinal. And it's not to prove anything to anybody, but it's to utilize more of what you have. No. It's like it's partially proving it to yourself. It's also partially like I feel like the words shouldn't be this complicated to try to find. It's like showing the world who you are showing yourself who you are, utilizing those things that are within you that are naturally sort of like I don't have the word. The moon card is sucking the words out of my brain. Go after that which is yours, basically. And you have it in you. Like as long as you compare yourself to others, it feels like there are going to be things about yourself that it's very difficult for you to see. And again, it's like the victory card is already here, but it's a 28-10 instead of a natural 10, and we have the 11 here. So something may be a little unconventional. Maybe your path was different in life. And that's the thing that's different between like you and other people, right? And it almost feels like an Aries energy, but it can be a shadow side of Aries energy because how the world sort of treats Aries energy and how Aries then adapts to that. And by that, I mean, like, I can see the shadowy side of Aries sometimes being like going above and beyond to do this or to do that, to appear a certain way, to not appear as if they are immature, juvenile, less experienced, or whatever, right? And it's like, but it's not for you to like be anything that you're not either. I feel like I'm like talking in circles by this point. And if you're a Cancer, I hope if you're a Cancer and this resonates, I hope I hope you got it. But it's like you lose out when you try to be someone that you're not, or when you compare yourself to somebody else. Right. And again, that's what this 5 of Swords, because in this deck, it's like the oppressed. It's the bullied standing up for themselves, taking their power back, and then it's how the shadows sort of fall back. Right. That's why in reverse, it's like, it's time to take back your power and it's time to rise up. And these shadows that you compare yourself to, like you could potentially be like the only person that thinks like this. Again, something about this Queen of Wands in reverse. It feels like on the outside, she's upright, but in her own world, she's in reverse. That's what I got for you, Cancer. Like, I hope that you can begin to learn to appreciate like all that you are. I just saw the Six of Wands because the shuffle broke, and the Six of Wands was at the top. You got victory. You got the Six of Wands. It's like everything is in position, everything is in place, but for some reason, I feel like you don't sort of see yourself in it. But it's because you compare yourself to other people, or that's what it feels like, or because your path has been different, and you think that your path needs to be something in order for you to get something, right? It's like, oh, well, I didn't go to this school, or I didn't make those grades, or like my background is in this instead of in that. But something about your background gives you a unique perspective in this field, in this arena, in this area, which is going to lead to you being as abundant as you are. You have something that's different. And in this, whatever this sector is, different is valuable, especially you're different. Your different is very valuable. And don't sell yourself short either, right? So let's move on to Gemini. 51 minutes. I was going to say 50, 60. 51 minutes. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Let's start with these first, and then we'll make our way over to the energy oracle cards. Gemini, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's because you're a Gemini and because I'm zodiacist, but I'm like, maybe learn to focus. Maybe a little bit of focus, Gemini, because when you're moving this fast through the air, I don't know why it's just like this, like airplane that's just like, just like flying all over. It also, though, it feels like from the outside, it can look unfocused. It feels like from the outside, it looks like it has no purpose or intent. But inside the cockpit, it looks very intentional, right? It's like you're writing something in the sky, and we just can't see what the letters are yet. And so it looks like you're just like doing all these loops and stuff like that. But it's like when you park the plane and then you step out onto the ground, that's when it's like the sun comes out or the sky clears so we can see what you wrote in the sky instead of just like the clouds, right? It feels a little bit like that. Like Gemini knows what Gemini is doing. Gemini isn't out here wandering without a purpose, without a rhyme or reason to what they do. They do. They have one. Oh well. Ten of Pentacles. Love that, Gemini. I feel like I very, very seldomly get like multiple streams of income. Also, there's a little bit of an energy of maybe a reconciliation within a family or a time of getting closer to family, a time of seeing past differences. The Magician is still in reverse. Judgment at the bottom of the deck, yeah, withholding judgment for sure. Magician in reverse, Two of Wands in reverse, Ace of Swords upright. I guess I'll just go with it. If it resonates for you, it resonates for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This feels like some people who have a disagreement about either how something should be used. It honestly feels like a disagreement around how someone should live their life or how someone should be able to live their life. With the Magician in reverse and the Two of Wands in reverse. Now, the Two of Wands in this deck is a card where it's like, two people have the same idea, but they have very, very different ways of going about it. And so it causes disharmony. And it's like they both kind of sort of have equal say to this. It could be like the dissolution of a business partnership or something like that. It could be. Um, But with the magician in reverse, it's like it draws attention to actions and the utilization of resources. This could be about business. Again, if it resonates, it resonates. Also, if you're starting a business, fun fact, so an LLC or an LLP, the LL is limited liability, right? So I think the C is corporation, the P is partnership. So depending on the type of corporation or partnership you have, if it's like if one person does something questionable or shady, then everyone in that company is affected equally. That's why you have the LL, which is limited liability. That way, you're not held fully liable for what someone else does. It's also why it's important for you to sort of know who you're going into business with. So it's like, let's say that you have a company or corporation, a partnership that's two people, and like your best friends or whatever. And so you trust each other, you decide not to do the limited liability thing, or you just don't know. And all of a sudden one day somebody sort of like turns, or like they went and they gambled too much money, or they want this or they want that, and so they start like skimming some money somewhere in the company, and then it gets found out, and then for whatever reason, whatever governing body takes everything. They take everything from the person, but they also take everything from you, and you go, well, that's not fair, I didn't do whatever. Well, in that type of partnership, in that type of corporation, you're held fully liable as they are. Now, when you have a limited liability, I don't know if it cuts off after a certain amount or something like that, but it reduces sort of like the impact and pull that one person's decisions have on another. And maybe that was a very roundabout way to get to that. How one person's actions, choices, decisions, and behaviors affect others that they're connected to. It feels more familial here. And maybe for a long time, somebody couldn't see how their actions or behaviors impacted somebody else, but now they're going to come into a knowledge or awareness of how that like works and how that happens. It does feel a little greedy. It feels a little selfish. With the Peregrine Falcon energy, it feels like they could be like kind of sort of like one track minded. It's like they see something and they go after it regardless of the consequences or who it impacts or affects, right? But that energy is going to be changing. I don't know if something happens, but with judgment in reverse, I feel like this could it's also a message like, maybe don't say I told you so. If someone comes back after this like magician in reverse, two of wands in reverse, like, oh, it didn't go according to your plan. Like, it went the other way. It was like a 50-50 shot, and unfortunately this time you lost. With the magician in reverse and the two of wands in reverse. But it's for you to sort of not be judging or judgmental, or for the other person to not be judging or judgmental. And again, we see the five of swords in reverse with the two of cups upright behind it. Because this is what's important, right? Or I guess you have to ask yourself what's more important. Is it more important for you to be right, or is it more important for that person in that moment to feel like they're loved and valued and appreciated regardless, right? Ten of Pentacles upright, that was the energy of like accepting our differences. Every pentacle is a different color here. It is the Pride Tarot, but still. Appreciation is at the bottom of the deck. Oh, that was quick. Who was it? Who was you? Wait, I know a card flipped over. Hello? I saw you flip over. Maybe it didn't. I really thought it did. Oh, here it is. The Door to Romance. Okay, Gemini. Well, maybe this is like a partner or something. Door to Romance with Archangel Raphael, fourth chakra at the bottom of the. It could be. It could be romantic. I mean, it was the Two of Cups, right? Also, again, there is a little bit of an energy of like, oh, look, 33, 33, and 38. It is a little bit of an energy of like some kind of hardship. Like, it doesn't feel like things maybe fell apart for. It's like why ever or wherever there was a breakdown, it feels like you're going to be able to empathize or sympathize with that person. Like, it's going to be understandable. And that's why it's going to be sort of more important to not come off as judgmental immediately, right? It's like you can hold off on the "I told you so's" because there was more to the situation that you didn't even know. Maybe you've been sort of manifesting something. You've been wishing for something, hoping for something. Could be romantic in nature. And you're going to find out like why it didn't work in the past or where the sort of difference is. And it's going to be important to withhold judgment in this space of difference and to not sort of put anyone on the defensive or to make anyone feel sort of less than or attacked, right, for their decision making. Maybe difficult, but because again, with that energy, like either you were the person that was perceived to sort of just be like bumbling around with no real goal in mind, or you perceive someone as bumbling around with no real goal in mind, but it feels like they really thought for whatever reason it would work out. And I don't know if you would necessarily come to the same conclusion, but I feel like you'll see how they came to that conclusion, and you'll see why they did what they did, and you'll understand. And what that'll do is it'll open room for some kind of healing to occur. But it's not. It feels like because patience is right behind Archangel Michael. Michael, Michael is the root chakra, right behind Archangel Raphael. It feels like it's something that's gonna take time. It's an investment. I don't know what they got themselves into or how big of a difference there is here, but it feels like with patience and with dedication and some love, it could be bridged. I don't know what some of these are about. I'm just going with it. It was easier when it wasn't Peregrine Falcon, like Peregrine Falcon, because this could be anything, which is fine. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, Gemini, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that you know what, Gemini, if you're out there and you're doing your own thing and other people don't get it, maybe try to have a conversation with them to see if they get it. But also at the same time, don't force yourself to conform either. And I feel like anyone who loves you, or if you love anyone, you should be able to come into a position and into a point of understanding. And it may take some time, energy, and effort. It may not be immediately there, right? Maybe their brain works in a way that yours doesn't work, or they have a body of experiences that you don't have, or things just work differently in their reality than they do in yours. And it's something to accept. Man holding a heart at the bottom of the deck. Is this romantic, Gemini? Or is it just family? Door to romance. What card popped out? Ten of Swords in reverse. Yeah, it feels like you don't like if you do the whole "I told you so" thing. Two of Wands in reverse. Yeah, it would just add insult to injury at this point. Um, it also feels like there may be some kind of disconnection within that person in themselves, or something that they need to sort of come to learn and accept. And that may be why they kind of sort of tend to go one way. And again, like love and patience are two of the best teachers, more so than judgment and "I told you so's" and getting an attitude because someone's not doing what you think that they should do for their lives, even if you know that they should do it for their lives because they keep making the same mistakes over and over. But again, something about that round and round energy feels like it's going to lead to something or it's eventually going to make sense. It feels like it's not as pointless as it looks in whatever way. I don't know. So 104, 104.55, I think, for Taurus. I don't remember where the time is. Yeah, nice. Okay, so Taurus. Les boules. The boule. I feel like Taurus is coming out with silence. I don't know why. Why so quiet, Taurus? Is Taurus the silent gardener right now? Like Taurus out there planting seeds and watering them under the cover of the night? And then folks wake up and it's just like, where did all this corn come from? Well, we got butternut squash and tomatoes and zucchinis too. Like, what? Since when do we have a garden? It's like, shh. Isn't that a song, Secret Garden or something like that? I don't know. Actually, it might be. Hey Siri, play Secret Garden. Siri, hey Siri, play Secret Garden.
I didn't find Secret Garden on Apple Music.
I thought it was not Apple Music and My Music. I thought it was. Maybe it isn't. I guess it isn't. I don't know what a secret garden is, Taurus. Okay, can I get an energy oracle card or no? That's a whole bunch. I just saw the man holding a heart again, though. With his garden full of roses, maybe someone's been secretly holding some affection for you, Taurus. And you're gonna be like, "Whoa! Like, since when do you feel this strongly? Like, I didn't even know that was our dynamic." Cornucopia at the bottom of the deck for Taurus. Okay. And a few cards just came out face down. 3 cards. Let's see. The Thinking Woman, the Sun, and Anxiety. So there's a 47, which breaks down to an 11, the actual number 11, the number 1, and then a 9. So we got this 11, 1, 11, and 9. Okay. This feels a little bit like this secret garden is internal. It feels like the space of an imagining. But it's one of those really, really happy ones. And it feels like it's an imagining that'll lead to something gorgeous. It'll lead to something beautiful with cornucopia here. But it's also leading to anxiety. So it's like, be careful not to build something up larger than. Oh, headache, come through. Yes. Larger than you have the ability to sort of like work with it. And it's not even that. It's just like, don't build it up to the point until it's something that you can't even like interact with. Right? 10 of Swords in reverse made an appearance. I ain't take it, but the 10 of Swords in this deck is like the head is separate from the body. So there's a space here. Oh, that reminds me of a dream I had. There was a dream that I had. There was a cup. It was like a dinner theater type thing. And we were in kiddie pools. And they were going around, and it was very much so like Sword in the Stone type of energy. I could tell that they were looking for somebody specific, but it was under the guise of dinner theater, like they were going around looking for their participant, right? Now I dove into the kiddie pool for whatever reason, and I saw a girl under the water. And then when I went back up, I didn't see her. And so I go back down again, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's there. And so I went up, or I tried to go up, but I was like stuck under the surface of the water for some reason. And so I swam over and I got the girl, and I was like, oh, she's here. And then they were waiting for somebody to free her or whatever. But so these look like the same girl. Anxiety around the sun. It reminds me of that quote that I remember from Aquila and the Bee. It's that, like, what if our greatest fear isn't that we're incompetent It's not that like we're not beautiful. Like, what if our greatest fear is that like we're more powerful, we're more intelligent than like than we know what to do with? And I just butchered that. But it's like the actual fear is that you're more. It's not that you're less. And so when you start to experience more, that was the Six of Cups. It triggers something in you. Six of Cups, Knight of Cups. I never noticed the two intertwined Venuses here on the cup. I feel like Venus is lending itself to this cornucopia because it feels like abundance beyond abundance. It feels like beauty beyond beauty. And it feels like a gorgeous mutual space as well because they're interlocked there. It's a little Venn diagrammy. It has the ability to satisfy multiple people, every party involved. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Nine of Swords in reverse. Yeah, it's like it feels like these are two competing energies. It's like the prospect of this new beginning, the prospect of abundant and happy life competes with like anxiety or fear or worry. It's like maybe with the Six of Cups upright, there's this distorted view of, I know it's a little weird. We're just going to go with it. There's a distorted view of the past. There's a distorted view of who you are. And I think it was for Gemini. Again, it reminds me of what Reem just said in the video with the mask of truth. And it reminds me of that quote again. It's like we've convinced ourselves that we're worse people than what we actually are. And so when we get opportunities for better, sometimes we're like triggered out of alignment with that, or we just refuse it. And it's so weird because it feels like the very thought of something brings warmth and joy. But as soon as you start to feel that warmth and joy, it triggers anxiety. But cornucopia is like sitting up here. Bottom of the deck is the star. And what this is, like, it's very Little Mermaid. The star feels like it's the promise of like getting to live a different experience. It's like you've been under the water, very scorpionic. So maybe y'all have been like buddy buddy with Scorpio lately, or just in that position. But it's like the way you've adapted to live underwater. It's like, well, I don't even have like I got gills down here. Like I'm not even gonna breathe up there. I'm gonna suffocate and die. And it's like, no, like you're not gonna die. Like you're gonna be fine. Now, when you're in a moment of anxiety or worry, like the words "you're gonna be fine" probably don't help too much. Um, but yeah, it's like there's so much new world anxiety here, and it's like, but you're getting closer and closer to like breaking the surface. And then the Ten of Wands comes in. Ten of Wands is here. The Page of Pentacles is in reverse. Ten of Wands is here. Again, it feels like it's carrying the energy of that Six of Pentacles. Everything that you've carried around with you up until this point, Peregrine Falcon, let it go. Rise to the surface. Break the water or breach the surface of the water. Move on to the land. It's like you're Taurus. Like, why are you underwater anyway? Hello? Not that you can't have feelings and emotions, right? But it also feels like something that just like naturally aligns with who you really are. And so when you drop the facade, when you drop the burdens, when you drop who you think you have to be to get a certain thing, you'll find that it's like this is your natural state. That's how well you just sort of fit in. And again, it's not necessarily easy, especially if you're in a position or if you're in a space where, like, for a long time, like, I was afraid to be happy. And I remember I've talked about it before, but I remember going into like the first time I went to my depression group and we were talking about some of our triggers, and I was like, happiness. Like, happiness triggers my depression. I was very much convinced that it was better to live a life of constant misery than it was to experience any kind of happiness or joy, because I would have lost it because of the inevitable future that I ran from. I'd sacrificed like most of my life, all those years of potential happiness, opportunities, relationships, friendships, just thinking about it. Like, and I'm a dreamer, so of course I want it. But then if I think about it too much, I think about all the reasons why it would never work or why it wouldn't last. And it's like, oh well, you know, it's a little bit of that energy here. But the sun is out. Cornucopia is coming. I mean, you can always. Judgment is still in reverse. Let's turn that thing up right real quick. Nine of Cups with Judgment in reverse, though. Well, now it's the Nine of Cups with the Judgment upright. It's like you can fight it, obviously, but don't. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands in reverse, Temperance in reverse came out. This is an energy. It's like it feels like you've been putting it off long enough. You've been holding back long enough. You've been doing all of this twisty emotional manipulation to yourself, trying to convince yourself that you don't want what you really want in life. Sabotaging opportunity after opportunity, or setting these impossibly high standards for certain things to the point where, like, you sort of force things to fail. But it reveals some kind of internal condition more than anything. So, Aries. Ooh, I made it to the end and it didn't take like 3 hours. I'm gonna say 117.17 because I remember seeing like 117.05. I'll say 117.15 because that might be closer. I should have went with 117.17. It would have been closer. All right, Aries. Never the least, very rarely last. I'm a Pisces. Call me bitter. My last name starts with a W, so I started at the end and I worked my way forward. Other people can be first sometimes, Aries. I'm just kidding. Aries is like, anybody say that you couldn't be first? And actually, I don't mind being last. So check your attitude. I'm like, okay, Aries, like, calm down. I was kidding. Oh my gosh. What Aries can't take a joke? That's one of my like, whenever someone's like, oh, you need to learn how to take a joke. Oof. Like I said, one of the things that I don't like is to have my feelings dismissed or the feelings of anybody dismissed. And a lot of times people are like, oh, like learn how to take a joke. It's probably because they've said something not great. But maybe it ain't. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this, Aries. Not wanting to shuffle. Oh, okay. I'm gonna give this a few shuffles. And I'm gonna pull 3 cards off of both of these. Seven of Swords, Page of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords in this deck, Three of Cups, Page of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords in this deck is all about putting yourself in a position where other people can't hurt you. For whatever reason. I don't know if they would or not, but it's like, better safe than sorry, right? Well, maybe you would distance yourself from somebody who like learn how to take a joke. It was like, okay, yeah, no. Okay, yeah, no. Like, no thanks, not interested. So, first round, Queen of Pentacles upright with the broken heart in reverse. These cards are all upright. The deck was in reverse. Door to Romance in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, there's something about it takes me back to Leo, I think. It was this energy of like the things that you seek out in order to not deal with what bothers you emotionally. Or it's like you're trying to find financial stability or trying to create financial stability and security because of an area in your life where you feel vulnerable, where you don't feel that stable or secure, right? So then, Eight of Pentacles upright with rest and rejuvenation. These are two very different energies. But the Eight of Pentacles, see, this is someone who finds solace in their work. But they find solace in work because while they're busy working, there are things that they don't think about. There's not enough time to feel when, you're working triple, double, extra overtime. And then we end with the Five of Pentacles in reverse. With the door to heal personal healing and happiness in reverse. I literally just turned this deck upright because it looked like the whole deck was in reverse. What? When did I put reversals in this deck? That must have just happened. This deck was all upright, but somehow Aries, right before this, we got reversals. I don't mean to laugh because this doesn't. Yeah, Five of Pentacles in reverse with the door to healing and happiness in reverse. There's something very. It's like you could be using work to distract yourself from. Also, what's at the bottom? Door to romance upright and the Five of Wands upright. Maybe it's like whenever you opened up about something, you would experience some kind of like conflict. Maybe not experiencing too many healthy relationships or having too many healthy relationships modeled in your life. Maybe there was another relationship where it's like something happened in that one, and so it keeps you. I don't. Maybe it has nothing to do with relationships, honestly. Maybe this is something else. There's a wound in the heart that is not being addressed, and it feels like you keep yourself busy, or you provide yourself stability and security, or you try to do it like financially or physically because you can't find it emotionally, or you didn't find it in something or someone else. And so the act of working for you is calming and relaxing, but it prevents you from spending enough time here, from working through it to heal from it. And so with this Peregrine Falcon, Aries, it feels like you just like kind of sort of throw yourself into things, anything and everything, not anything and everything, but it feels like you really throw yourself into things. And then with that Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles energy, Six of Swords, it's like you're trying to move forward in a situation by, again, it's like keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself from thinking about other things, constantly juggling and trying to keep things in balance. It's like you try to make it so that you have no time for your brain to just wander. Because whenever it does, maybe it goes to a place that you don't like. Or maybe you don't even want to like risk it and find out. Something about this Five of Pentacles is interesting though, in reverse. It feels like you fled from a situation, maybe preemptively, that you didn't need to, but you did. The reason why you did, it was a self thing with the door to personal healing and happiness in reverse. And so the Five of Wands with this door to romance, and I love how this is black and white because I mean there's a lot of like conflict in this, but it feels like it's all internal. And with the door to happiness, it feels like you're going to come into a space of like fighting the battles that need to be fought. But you don't fight it with swords, right? You're not fighting it with like words and thoughts. It feels like it's more action oriented, right? It's like you're actually going to do something to the word ignite popped into my mind, but I wanted to say to illuminate these things. I guess to ignite these things, to set them on fire. Like Adele when she set fire to the rain, right? Honestly, Aries, I don't think I gave anyone else a question, but I would ask you like what stability means to you. Like how much money do you have to have? What do you have to possess? What does stability mean to you? And there's like a whole line of questions that I could ask. But I would say Aries start there. If you're a journaler, journal. If you're a meditator, maybe meditate on it. Ask spirit to show you because spirit does that. Because it feels like again, it's something about your sense of stability that or what you see as stability that almost feels like you'll never quite reach it because there's something else at play. Right. So it's because, like, if you give me a number, like stability is making this much, like stability is having a house where I don't have to worry about my bills and the fridge is full and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, if you've had that before, or if you currently have that, then do you feel stable in your environment? He's like, no. So there's a little bit more to this than just stuff. I don't know. This is heavy. And honestly, it could be something that you revisit a few times. It's this Eight of Pentacles and rest and rejuvenation. But what is it? It's like, healing isn't a like 2 day thing or 1 day thing. Sometimes there are many things that we have to heal. Sometimes we come across multiple iterations of very similar things because there's a tie that lies sort of beneath them. Sometimes we can have very, very internal or root blockages or traumas that manifest blockages in many areas and facets of our life that affects us in many ways. And so we might feel like we're healing the same thing, or we may be feeling like triggered by the same things. And it is an upward spiral, but also sometimes things go deeper. And we can have like a topical approach, but if you don't pull up the weeds, like if you don't remove the roots, it's just going to sprout something else up. It's one of those things. So, yeah, I feel like I want to pull some of these. I've been wanting to grab these, honestly. So for Aries, there we go. These flipped over. Knight of Swords, the Moon, Karma. Karma is judgment in this deck, and the Chariot is right here. This is an interesting combination of cards with the Moon and Karma. It's interesting because in a few decks, the Moon card is actually an eclipsed sun. I know in the vice versa, one of the faces is it's an eclipsed sun. And in both of these cards, there's not a lot of light. So it's like you're moving like quite quickly with not too much information, especially here between the Knight of Swords and the Moon. It's a very incomplete picture. And then with Karma and the Chariot, it's a call to align yourself. The sun and the moon are in the same position. In the Chariot, it's about bringing the light horse and the dark horse that naturally we find sort of in opposing natures. It's about bringing them together with the force of your will and moving forward. Now, the force of your will isn't something that you necessarily force, because it's like trying to force two magnets together. You can hold them in place, but as soon as you let go, they're going to go shooting off in opposite directions. Bottom of the deck is the Hangman. So yeah, don't be afraid to take a moment of pause, because it feels like when you get everything figured out, or when you allow more of this personal healing and happiness by doing some of that not as easy work, that's when things, it's like this lasting impact energy. So that's what I got for this. I am going to go to the restroom and then come back and attempt to do this SBL thing. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see. We'll see if I am in a position to do it today, or if it's something something that I revisit later. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that it feels like there are these moments of like divine pause that are going to be coming. And it feels like if you stop in a moment of divine pause, it'll mitigate all of that momentum, right? It's like a seat, but it's like it's like when you jump out of a building and they have the thing that catches you, right? It it's like a baseball mitt. It like absorbs all of that momentum without without as much damage to either you or the environment. So, ooh, magician at the bottom of the deck. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. It makes me nervous, but I will do my best. All right. Have a good way. Bye.